Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well. I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble.
What up, YouTube? Franchise Sports TV back again with another video. So, before I begin, remember to like the video. Must like the video. Like, share, subscribe as well. So, I think it was a couple of days ago, True Raw had a video about his top 10 favorite seasons from a particular team. And he listed all of them. And I decided, you know what? Maybe I should take a crack at it and figure out what are my favorite top 10 favorite seasons from any NBA team. Not every NBA team. Any NBA team. So, I had to really dig deep and think about this one. It's a couple of them some people might be able to guess. But of course, I had to have watched them too. So there'll be no bulls on here. And I mean watched, I mean really watched them from start to finish at least. So most of these are probably going to be anywhere from the early 2000s, maybe even up to now. So with no further ado, starting at number 10 is the 2003-2004 Detroit Pistons. I remember this season very clearly. I can't say the Pistons came out of nowhere. They was contenders the year before, but this year they really put something together. And now, regular season, I didn't watch too much of them. No, I didn't. I didn't watch too much of them, but I started watching them during the playoffs. I started watching them from the beginning of the playoffs, of the 04 playoffs, when they beat my Milwaukee Bucks 4-1. I forgot who's in that. I think the only person I know on the top of my head that was on that team was certainly Michael Redd. It was Michael Redd's first All-Star year as well. And, yeah, they beat the crap out of us. We did get one game off them. And then in the next round, they went 7 games to the then New Jersey Nets. I think that team had Jason Kidd, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson. And then they'll play, I guess you could call them their rival, in the conference finals, the Indiana Pacers. I think they played them in 6 games that year. This is the year before that, famous brawl. And I thought about that famous brawl. That Malice at the Palace is about to be 20 years old in November of next year. That's crazy how time has flew. And then next, in the finals, the Detroit Pistons will play that super team, quotations, Los Angeles Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, and with the older Karl Malone and Gary Payton. Karl Malone was basically a shell of himself. I think he was injured for most of that playoffs. But the Detroit Pistons will win that series 4-1. I remember when they won that series, I was actually in Las Vegas at the time, watching it on the Strip, and all the Lakers haters, they went crazy watching that game. And it's weird seeing Shaq with the frustration because he had to face both Rasheed and Ben Wallace. And facing those two was a nightmare. This Pistons team had Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, and then the finals MVP Chauncey Billups, coached by one Larry Bird, with future Laker coach Darvin Ham, Eldon Campbell, future North Carolina coach Hubert Davis, Lindsey Hunter, and Darko Milicic. If only Joe Dumars picked Carmelo. Carmelo actually will have a ring probably. But this team, I have to say, is one of the best defensive teams in NBA history. They had a defensive rating of 95.4. And I think they was second in the league that year. So I'm trying to figure out who was first in that year. I don't remember. But yeah, they was second in the league that year. All right. Moving on to number 9. The 2000-2001 Milwaukee Bucks. This season for the Bucks started as a disappointment. The Bucks started off the season 3-9. Had everyone in Milwaukee question what the hell is going on, but eventually the Bucks put something together offensively and defensively, finishing the year 52-30 as the second seed in the East behind the Philadelphia 76ers. The Bucks began their playoff run, beating the Tracy McGrady-led Orlando Magic 3-1, then went into a thrilling 7-game series with the original Charlotte Hornets. That team had, Baron Davis, Jamal Mashburn, David Wesley. I don't know if they had Eldon Campbell at the time. P.J. Brown. Maybe they had P.J. Brown. I'm trying to figure out who else was on that team. And then they play AI in the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not getting into that series because it would piss me off. But this season was held tightly by Bucks fans for some time to come. And what I mean by that, some reason we cherish that whole entire season, because that was the best season that the Milwaukee Bucks will have for the next. The 2009-2010 season was memorable. They was 46-36 that year, but I think that was probably their best season since the 2000-2001, and then all of a sudden you have the rise in Giannis, and that changed everything. But anyways, this team was led by Ray Allen, Sal Cassell, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, and others like Tim Thomas, Scott Williams, former Bulls, Jason Caffey. What's Jason Caffey on the team? I think Jason Caffey was on the team. Former Bull, Irvin Johnson. It was coached by George Karl, who pretty much ended this team a year later. Just destroyed this team. Bucks fans only had to wait 20 years for another chance at the gold. At number 8, the 2018-2019 season. Well, not exactly 20 years, but this was the best season in between the 2000 and 2001 season. But we're getting closer. We're getting close to the season that I will be talking about eventually. But even I wasn't expecting a 16-22 season from the Bucks. I really wasn't. But I can tell with the improvements from Giannis, you can tell this team was coming. Unfortunately, Jabari Parker will not be part of this. The team was 4th in offensive rating, number 1 in defense, blowing teams out left and right. Giannis was the MVP this season. The Bucks blew out the 8th-seeded Detroit Pistons, led by Blake Griffin, every game. I think one game it was down by 20, and they ended up lapping the Pistons. It was crazy. And then they played the Kyrie Irving-led Boston Celtics, losing the first game, which, to quote Paul Pierce, "Oh, the series is over." It wasn't over, Paul Pierce. It was far from over. The Bucks blew out the Celtics in the next 4 games. And then they faced the Kawhi Leonard-led Toronto Raptors, winning the first 2 games, the Bucks, before Kawhi Leonard turned into Michael Jordan for 4 games, winning the series 4-2, hence the wall and everything happened. Close but no cigar, but we'll have to wait another 2 seasons. At number 7, which will come to a shock for a lot of people. A lot of people will have a Pikachu face as I eat this sweet candy. Sorry. 2015-2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, I put the team on there. LeBron was second. This was his second year back on the Cavs since returning. Kawhi. Did I say Kawhi? These damn K names, man, in this league now. Everybody's named K. Kawhi, Kevin Love, Kevin's. Oh, damn. But Kyrie and Kevin Love returned this season healthy. The Cavs finished the season 57-25 in the weak-ass East, but finished 3rd in offense and 10th in defense. Similar to the Bucks, they played the Detroit Pistons in the first round, winning 4-0. And then they played the Atlanta Hawks, winning 4-0. And then they played the Toronto Raptors with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, winning that series in 6 games, before playing their arch nemesis, the 72-9 Golden State Warriors, going down 3-1, thinking it was going to be another repeat of last season. But LeBron received a care package. But Draymond Green was kicking players left and right in the jewels. So that required the donkey man to miss a game. But LeBron and Kyrie both scored 41 points apiece in Game 5, then tying the series in Game 6. before we saw the legendary heroics in Game 7 from both LeBron and Kyrie, earning the Cavs their first ring, causing the city of Cleveland to go crazy. And then again, the summer of 2016 was a fun summer for me. Actually, I'll say this. From April 2016 to the end of that year was fun to me. Good times. Very good times being in your mid-20s. Number 6, 2017-2018 Houston Rockets. Well, this one is odd. But for some reason, I enjoyed this run by the Rockets, even though I strongly dislike Mongol Slade, a.k.a. James Harden. But the addition of Chris Paul really turned this team around. This team finished 65-17, first in the West and in the league. This team had CP3, Mongol Slade, and good role players like PJ Tucker, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, Nene, Trevor Ariza. They went 5 games with the Timberwolves, with Jimmy Butler, 5 games with the Utah Jazz, and then went into that 7-game war with the defending champs, the Golden State Warriors. It did appear that the Warriors may be dethroned and kicked out of there. But you know what happens next. Chris Paul's hamstring decides to take a 404 error on him. And then the Rockets decide to brick shots late in Game 7. What did he miss? Like 31 shots or something like that. Yeah, this team was first in offense, 6th in defense, even with James Harden. But he had defensive pieces all around. And he had the pieces to win it all. But once again, the summer of 2018 was a fun one for me. Actually, 2018 was a very, very interesting year for me personally. It was a transition year for me. But in 3 years, PJ Tucker will run the gauntlet against his former Rocket teammates. But more on that later. And this video is to be continued. Come back later. And release the top 5 in the next video.